and divine light. I hope the sun is shining wherever you are and you're living in your greatest purpose. Thank you for your likes, comments, shares, and subscribes. Thank you to all who have booked personal readings, all the channel members, new subscribers, all those who continue to donate to the channel. I'm just going to share this quick. All right, y'all. Peace, love, and divine. All right, y'all. Peace, love, and divine light. So the title of this live, as you can see, it's entitled Remembering is Everything. Remembering is everything. And I'm going to talk about a couple of different things and also going to discuss what inspired me to talk about this. What inspired me to talk about, I actually did a short on it. It was Taraji P. Henson. Some of you may know who is a famous actress. She was on that show Empire, and along with so many different shows. She is also, many people may or may not know, she also spearheads an organization that helps people with trauma, anxiety. She's doing phenomenal work. So I saw a clip of a speech that she recently made during, it was a commencement speech for Spelman, where she was discussing how this South African tribe, I don't remember what the name of the tribe is. It's a South African tribe, how they handle trauma within their community. And I was just like so amazed by it. And it prompted me to think about the way we do things, the way we handle our relationships with people, specifically how quickly we tend to forget. And I say we, all of us, how quickly we tend to forget when someone does a good deed, how quickly it almost seems like, something that someone does, a misunderstanding, and that's what I'm going to call it, right? How oftentimes the good deed oftentimes is forgotten and it's replaced by, these thoughts. Okay, so stay with me. So during this speech, Taraji was talking about how this South African tribe, and again, I don't remember their name, right? Speaking of remembering, I will get that name for you, and I don't remember how to spell it. And that's one thing I have to stop saying is I don't remember. Let's start there, right? As it's happening, right? I am working on remembering. Okay, that's one thing we definitely get to do is work on our speech. Okay, and you see, I'm included. I'm not exempt from that. So, the name of the African tribe I will get for you. And just as I'm speaking, it definitely takes a lot more work to remember than it does not to remember. Like you realize how often we say, "Oh, I don't remember this, I don't remember that," and we're trying to remember stuff. And so one thing we get to do is definitely change our speech. Instead of saying I don't remember, say I will X, Y, and Z, or I will remember. It takes more work. It definitely takes more action. So back to what I was saying about the speech that Taraji P. Henson was providing. She was saying that within this tribe, when someone does something in the community, they sit them down. Okay, they sit that person down within a community circle. They form a circle around the individual, and in that circle, they utter words of affirmations, positive affirmations to the person, because the point is, and they spend 2 days. They spend 2 days uttering words, positive words of affirmation to the person to remind them of who they are. Because within that community, it is believed that the reason why oftentimes we do things that, like we commit various acts of da 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 da, whatever it may be, It is because we have forgotten who we are. According to this tribe, the reason why we do certain things is because oftentimes in our path to searching for happiness, to, we're so busy looking for what makes us happy. And we so oftentimes what happens is we forget. Okay, we forget who we are on our path. And so with this tribal ritual, it is a means of remembering. It is a means of the community coming together to remind that person who commits the act of truly who they are, to remind them of their divinity, to remind them that they are more than that act that they committed. And they spend 2 days doing this. It's a whole ritual. And they do this until the person, comes into alignment with their divinity, with their highest self. And I was just, when I heard that, I was just so amazed. Like, what an act of love. Like, truly, what an act of love. Like, how it's almost unfathomable. I think that's the word, because we handle things so differently in this society and in our Western European way of doing things. And I'm speaking for those who live in those societies. And I was just thinking, I was like, they're quick to send people to jail. They're quick to send people to jail, lock them up. And that's like that's more on a societal level. I also thought about it on a personal level, and how a lot of us have these relationships that we call relationships that we say we value. And so many times we're so quick to attribute some negative thing to why someone does something, instead of saying, oh, okay, they just had a bad day, or they just forgot who they are, or they forgot da 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 da. Like, instead of actually, dealing with situations with those closest to us with compassion, a lot of times we are so quick to forget the acts of kindness that people have done with one thing. It's almost like that one thing erases everything. That one thing that person does can essentially erase every good thing that they've done. And that just seems to be that kind of society we live in. And it also seems to be a society that more so promotes forgetting. Okay? Forgetting who we are, forgetting forgetting love, forgetting like positive vibrational energies. Like, it seems to be one that focuses or thrives on forgetting. Like, if you really think about it, when living in societies that are more industrial, I would say, like, you really have to put in a lot of effort to even remember to take care of you. It's such a situation where we value the hustle and bustle. Like, if someone were to dare to be sitting down and doing nothing, right, for like 10 minutes, we would judge that person. And not all of us, some of us would. It's a society that really tries, and I'm not sure if it's intentional. I think some aspect of it is intentional. Like, you're supposed to be so busy to the point where you don't even remember to take care of you. You're supposed to be that busy. Like, busy equals productive. Productive equals, okay, you're doing something with your life, you're making money, da da da. Like, you're not even really supposed to remember to eat, remember to take care of yourself. Like, that truly is our idea of someone who's successful. And a lot of times we attribute these negative vibes or words to someone that's just that just doesn't seem to be busy enough. And you know what else? And this actually, some of you will definitely relate to this. If you're someone who work for yourself, you'll have people judge you and deem that you're not working. They'll be like, so and so can do it. They don't have a job. If you're working for someone, if you're put in a condition where you have no time for yourself and you don't even love what you do. I mean, there are cases where a lot of people work for folks and they like what they do. Yet what I tend to find is that if you're someone who worked for yourself, people outside, the outside world will deem that, oh, you're not doing anything. Let her do it. Let him do it. He ain't got nothing to do. She ain't got nothing to do. She ain't got no job. Why? Because you're not locked into a schedule where someone it literally holds grasp of your time. And that's the kind of thing that our society values. It values that constriction. It doesn't, as much as we'd like to say we value freedom, the funny thing is the actions don't really show that we value freedom, because those who seek to be free, right, who are moving towards that direction, we often judge because we're socialized to. We're socialized to think that way. So it's important that we remember. We remember our purpose. We remember why it is we do what we do. Okay? And I'm not one that is going to say, okay, well, if you work for someone, that's a bad thing, because there are a lot of people who work for a company or someone like that that really truly enjoy what they do. Yet there are a lot of people who would disagree with that and say, well, working for someone really constricts my time. I'm not free to do what I will with my time. And if you're someone who values your time and energy, people are really quick to call you lazy. They're quick to say, oh, this person is lazy. They don't want to work. They ain't got no job. Even if you are forget if you're a mother, working in a home, like, oh. And women have definitely seen that side of the spectrum where they've been judged, and it's been deemed that they're not doing anything because they're working, taking care of the house, because they're not working for someone. Okay, they're working for themselves. So here we go, going back to that whole notion again, that we truly do not value our freedom as much as we say we do a lot of times. And we are kind of like put into a corner to not remember that freedom, if that makes any sense. We're not supposed to even have time to remember ourselves, to remember what's important to us, to remember what truly matters. What truly matters. It's like we're not supposed to remember that. And so I entitled this "Remembering is Everything" because that speech that I saw by Taraji P. Henson really prompted me to think about, just relationships in general. Relationships in general. How are we, showing up in relationships? Do we really have authentic relationships? How is it that how are we judging those relationships? Are we being authentic? When that person, and I truly think that that's how we're able to determine like an authentic relationship from one that is not authentic. Like if you're in a relationship where someone is more likely to attribute some negative aspect to what you do instead of like really being empathetic, I think that's where we need to question whether or not that relationship is authentic, regardless of regardless of the type of relationship, whether it's work related, familial, romantic. How is it that how are we judging each other in relationships? Are we showing each other grace? Are we more likely to be empathetic regarding what people do? Or, you know, how is it that we're doing that? What's the dynamics of that? Okay, so that's what I thought about. It's essential that we truly remember who we are in the relationships that we are showing up in. Are we showing up? Are we truly showing up as being authentic in those relationships? Okay, so that is what I wanted to talk about. Hopefully, you're showing up as authentic in your relationships, regardless of what relationship that is. All right. And we give each other we give each other grace. And for me, I think that means that we we are more empathetic in those relationships than we're more empathetic basically in those relationships. Okay. So I know, sometimes we like to be hardcore and think someone's against us, this and the third. It's not always the case. So hopefully, we're a lot more empathetic than we're more empathetic. That's basically it. All right, y'all, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Peace, love, and divine light.